Alright guys, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my journey into the influencer marketing industry where I've been working for the past 12 months. So without further ado, let's get right into it. After having worked as a trainee engineer for 6 months, I decided to call it quits. Maybe a career in automobile engineering wasn't right for me, especially when massive layoffs and rising unemployment were prevalent in the industry. Something else that influenced my decision was a unique opportunity that came my way. A startup in the digital marketing field was looking for a first hire for their business development department. My friend of 8 years, who was the co founder of said startup, felt I would be a great fit and extended this opportunity to me, one I took without even blinking twice. Now, about the startup. I had heard about it before. During my previous trip to Bangalore, my friend told me all about his new idea over a few beers. At that time, though, I was focused on my automobile engineering career and politely declined the chance to be a part of it. Now, 2 years later, I was about to pack my bags and move to Bangalore from Chennai to join the same startup which I didn't know much about. All I knew was that they envisioned to be the best influencer marketing tech agency in India. Influencer marketing, I'd heard, was a tiny part of digital marketing that had huge scope and was growing rapidly. If I was to understand digital marketing, if I was to understand influencer marketing, I needed to know how digital marketing worked. Now, the digital marketing field is new, glamorous, and very much sought after today. Many companies selling products and services, after realizing the cost effectiveness of marketing on the web, wasted no time in recruiting digital marketing personnel in their own companies or outsourcing the requirements to other agencies. Now, when I talk about digital marketing, I mean all of the following that you can see on the screen: content marketing, email marketing, search engine optimization, search engine marketing, pay per click advertising, social media marketing. Now, I know for some of you, these terms might be completely new, but I will be diving into detail on each of these topics in upcoming vlogs. So please do stay tuned. The startup in which I was about to join dealt with influencer marketing, which was a very small subset of social media marketing. Now, this question might have come to your head already. What is influencer marketing? Imagine this: you're scrolling through your phone on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is, and you come across an advertisement every 5 to 10 posts. Now, the thing is, you've been a user of the internet for many years now, and your brain has been trained to spot ads from regular posts, and frankly, you're really good at it. Now, unless it's something you have heard of previously or has bright and colorful graphics, you're definitely not going to stop and take a look. Brands that look to advertise on social media need to make their ad copy as organic as possible. And by organic, I mean they need to resemble normal posts. The game is to make it resemble regular posts to stand a chance of actually getting some kind of return on their investment. But on the other hand, let's say you are into food and you follow a bunch of recipe creators, whether it's on Instagram or maybe even YouTube. They talk about their newest spaghetti recipe, and in the process, they give you a few recommendations of brands that sell really good spaghetti. Now, you are more likely to consider buying this brand spaghetti since it was recommended by a thought leader or a content creator with a large audience or a social media influencer. Now, these are kinds of people that you follow for the kind of content they create. You follow a recipe creator because they create really good recipe content and they make it easy for people like you to follow those recipes and make them yourselves. Now, that's exactly what influencer marketing is: approaching thought leaders or content creators or influencers who have a large following on social media and asking them to talk about your products or services in return for something. Now, this something can be money or it can be products, but we'll get into that later. How does influencer marketing work? Now, the process of approaching social media influencers to help promote your products or services works in one of two ways. Either you find and approach the influencers yourself, or you outsource your requirements to an agency. Now, these are essentially either large digital marketing agencies with an influencer marketing department, or these are small dedicated influencer marketing agencies. Whether you choose to approach an agency or do it on your own, the processes of running an influencer marketing campaign are the same. They're what you can see on the screen: scouting, approaching, shortlisting, negotiating, finalizing, and running the campaign. Now I'll just go through each of these in a little bit of detail. Scouting. Now you have to find influencers according to your requirement, according to your budget, and according to the niche. This also includes choosing the type of content creators you want to work with, the size of their audience, the kind of content they create, and basically the quality of content they create. Next step after finding a bunch of influencers or thought leaders is approaching them. Keep in mind, not all influencers are open to doing sponsored content, and thus this step is very important. It helps gauge their interest in your brand and promoting your product or service. This step would normally involve discussing the type of content to be created, the cost that would incur, etc. etc. Next comes shortlisting. After you've approached all the influencers in your list, it's time to make the final shortlist. Here, factors such as your overall marketing budget, their interest and keenness in working with your brand play major roles. After you're done shortlisting, you have to negotiate. Now, much like any other sort of business deal, negotiating is important in influencer marketing deals as well. Some influencers are open to working on a barter basis. What this means is they promote your product or service, basically your brand, in return for a few of your products or a free experience of your service. Some maybe won't be interested in stuff like this and they would prefer a cash payment. All this can be negotiated down to the last rupee, and this is a pretty important step. It's just like any other business deal, as I mentioned earlier. Once you're done negotiating, it's time to finalize. It's time to make the deal official. Now, this can either be done via an email or a contract. Now, obviously, contracts are legally binding, unlike emails, but for most campaigns, an email would suffice. Last step is running the campaign. Now that the deal is final, the only thing left to do is set a date for the campaign and have it go live. There is a lot more to each of these steps than what I just described. But as I said earlier, I will be delving deeply into each of them, and you can keep an eye out on my blog for future posts about all of this. Next, I'm going to come to the vision of this startup that I joined. Now, this startup was unlike any typical influencer marketing agency. It was less than a year old and had started off as a product recommendation app with features to help people earn from affiliate links. Now, upon realizing the value of the influencer marketing industry, the founders decided to make a mark using tech. There were quite a few influencer marketing agencies out there, big, small, all sizes, and all of them pretty much did the same thing. Whatever work happened in these agencies was limited by the number of campaign executives. After all, working with humans is so much more complicated than working with machines. And this was a problem that this particular agency or startup looked to solve for. And this was scalability. By creating a tech product that allowed brands or agencies to work with multiple influencers at the same time, the founders suggested it would be possible to run large influencer marketing campaigns with ease. And that was what was most exciting about this startup. Now, in conclusion, putting myself out of my comfort zone in a field which was absolutely new to me was a much needed wake up call. With only my intelligence and skills to help me learn and work my way through, this was one of the most transformative years of my life. The ancient philosopher Heraclitus asserted in a phrase, "Panta rhei," in Greek. This translates to "life is flux," or in language that we all can understand, change is the only constant in life. I truly understood the meaning of this phrase, "change is the only constant in life," over these last 12 months, and I will continue to share more of my learning and experiences in this blog. Which was the most transformative year in your lives? Please leave a comment below. Thank you.